calling down my name. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Oh, midnight highway, shining just like sin. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Tell me, river, where your current flows. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Oh, stop your freight train, let a lost man ride. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Fare you well, darling, ain't coming back no more. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Who been whispering since I've been gone so long? Freedom calling.
Then I forget to hit it an hour into it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're ripping. So you're probably gonna stay anonymous, right?
Yeah.
right.
You got my name in the email at least, and you've actually read my name before when you read my encounters
Okay.
a couple years ago. I want to
Okay.
say I sent the email in 2023, I think.
All right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
I'm
yeah.
just how I'm picking. I'm not really diving too deep into how to get somebody, pick somebody. It's like because I just have to go through my emails. 'Cause sometimes I'll get an. I've never erased an email ever, and I'll go to the very beginning and I start glancing through them because some emails, there's a lot of emails in there where people go, "Oh, you got to watch this video or you got to read this book," and that's the whole email, right? So I have to read the email a little bit to make sure somebody's seen something. I'm like, okay, here's somebody. Maybe they want to talk about it, and then I just get Sarah to contact them.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised how quick it was. I
Cool,
figured
eh?
it'd be a couple weeks out or something like that, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So where are you roughly in the planet?
So I am in the Appalachian Mountains.
Oh wow, lots of crazy shit goes on around there.
Boy, is that the truth.
How long you
Um,
been living there?
I've been down here on and off probably for the past 6 years.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Where did you originate roughly?
I am originally from Ohio in the States.
More crazy shit goes on there too.
It's it was funny. I heard someone who was from Ohio talking about Ohio, and all of us, everyone who's left Ohio is like, yeah, I really don't want to go back. It is a beautiful place. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great national parks and countryside like that, but like a town not far from me is openly satanic worshiping people.
Really?
Literally right out in the open. They don't hide it. They will tell you straight to your face. So it's
Holy
not a
shit.
good place, and from my family history I knew that, which wasn't told to me until I had gotten much older.
That's creepier than shit. But then again, if you look at today's leadership, it's satanic shits in your face anyway, right? On a large scale.
Exactly. And my family was on the track to go into that type of stuff before I was born.
No.
I'll
Ugh.
if if I talk about it, I'll have to kind of use some different words that aren't the actual words. I've actually had a weird experience doing that. I was on a phone call with a friend, and the whole 3 hour phone call was absolutely perfect, crystal clear, until I mentioned those words. And then I started getting static, call dropping, stuff like that. As soon as I stopped, crystal clear again, perfect.
Creepy. Yeah, I don't have over active eagerness to dive into satanic occult shit. That stuff can stay in the garbage can out of my sight. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Eh.
And my grandpa got to that point where they revealed it to him, and he's like, "Nah, I'm out. We're out.
Yeah.
Sorry."
What the hell's the attraction? I just don't get it. What are these people getting out of that instead of just being out in the sunshine and enjoying life and all the beauty and all the fun shit?
My dad told me that it was more for protection, which to me, I'd say it's like 50-50. Yeah, sure, you at least know so you can protect from that kind of shit. But at the same time, you're literally diving into the evil, the darkness, the shit. So what's the point?
Yeah, well, that could easily be an angle just to get you in there too, right? Oh, you just get in here just to learn about it so you can be protected from it. Then you're in the door.
Yep, and you don't know about any of that till you go way up the ladder, and when you get way up the ladder, that's when they start telling you. And my dad and I had a pretty fun conversation about it one night because it all ties back into the big hairy man.
Really?
Yeah, so my dad and my grandfather made a pact not to tell us grandchildren about any of that. They were going to keep it secret. They weren't going to tell anyone about the history, what they were involved with, anything like that.
Wow.
And I didn't know about my family history until that same grandfather had committed suicide.
Wow.
And once that had happened, I started asking my dad. I was like, "Hey, what's going on? What's up with all this?" And then he eventually explained to me. He's like, "Yeah, we weren't supposed to tell you guys, but I had already found out a majority of the information that he was telling me. Like, I did my own research when I started having weird things happen or started noticing things that didn't make any sense. And you start poking holes, you start finding the truth, and I pretty much wound up at the same spot they were at, and I laughed because he's like, "Yeah, all it really is Satan's little Ponzi scheme." And we both laughed, and I patted him on the back, and I was like, "Boy, I bet you and Grandpa are proud. I got all that for free 99. Didn't have to pay a dime for it." um,
Oh shit.
yeah, it was like, it wasn't. I guess I asked for it when I was, a younger kid, because you're in society, you go to school, you do all this, and it's very boring, very monotonous. And I wished there was more to life than just that. Like, if this is all this is awful. This
Pretty
is
lame.
terrible. And the first weird experience I had, not Sabe related, but in the world of the unseen, as I call it, or the invisible college. I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, young kid, and my grandma, not on that side of the family, my mom's side, would come over every Thursday and she'd buy us a Disney movie and they'd bring over McDonald's or whatever and we'd visit with grandma and grandpa. And I'm going to bed one night and there's a storm rolling through, thunderstorm. Lightning striking I can see it flashing through my window. There's a tree out back causing a shadow. And all of a sudden, Maleficent from, I think it's Sleeping Beauty, the old green, like, witch, had appeared in my window. And I was like, oh, no. No way. And I took the covers and I threw them over my head. I'm like, well, if she can't see me and I can't see her, there's nothing that's going to happen. And nothing did happen. So I passed out that night, and I woke up in sleep paralysis. Couldn't talk, couldn't move, couldn't do anything. But my brain was working and my eyes were open. And at the foot of my bed stood a tall shadow figure with green eyes.
Ew.
And the best that I can describe it as, and thank you, Stephanie, for your True Talk episode and everything you disclosed there, because yes, it does resonate with people. I am one of those people. But I guess for lack of a better terms, my soul or my astral body, where you can go into those other dimensions when you're asleep, like she said, was being sucked towards this being. And I kept getting scared, kept trying to scream, like max out, freak out mode. And by the time I got close to it, it all, like, within a snap of a finger, disappeared. It was gone, and I was back in my body, literally coming up out of my bed from my voice going to a whisper, all the way to a full-on scream, just like that. Like someone was turning the volume dial up as I was sitting up, and it was done. It was over. That was it. I was like, okay. Don't know what to make of that. Have no idea. Until later I had talked to my dad all these years later, and he's like, yeah, that probably had a little something to do with me and Grandpa, because that was right about the time they had left the stone workers who don't like to be slaves. If that makes sense. If you want to reword that. So years go by, you know, I'm that kid. I want it to be different. I don't want it to be boring. Everything was monotonous. Did not believe in Bigfoot at all. Like, loved the Jack Link's beef jerky commercials. They were hilarious. Finding Bigfoot, they obviously find nothing all the time.
Intentionally.
We all know why. Exactly. Yep. And I didn't believe in any of that. So after that grandfather committed suicide, a great-grandmother passed away, I was in a real bad spot. So I moved out to Colorado with my best friend to build custom homes. Got out there, had a bunch of fun. His uncle owned the company, so we worked for him. And they ended up buying a little piece of property that's next to some national forest, has a creek running through it, and we go there and we camp out. Their plan, which now came to fruition, they put a couple yurts on the property. They could rent it out for Airbnb or whatever, or personal use. And it was a cool spot to hang out. So the first and forever unforgettable event that happened to me, it was me and my buddy. We were out there. We were going to camp out that night. His uncle came up. We grilled up some steaks, had a few beers, smoked a couple bowls of weed. He left. We were just listening to music, kicking a soccer ball around, you know, just hanging out. Nothing really crazy or anything like that. And midnight rolls around, and my buddy's like, all right, I think I'm going to go try and lay down, head to bed. He was a lot drunker than me. I'm not really a drinker. I quit drinking, 7 years ago? So he was a little more intoxicated than I was, and that'll come into play later. He goes to bed. I stay up for like a half hour more, and then I go in my tent. I don't have the rain fly on, so I can see all the stars above me and all that. And one of the framers I worked with was a hunter from Montana. So around the job site, we would like crow call or imitate bird calls or animal calls all the time, flick nails at each other, have a bunch of fun. And I'm laying there, and I hear 3 whoops. And I thought, well, that's a strange sounding owl. And it was whoop, whoop, whoop. I was like, all right, well, I'll just whoop back. So I whoop back 3 times. And then it whoops back 3 times. And then I whoop back another 3 times. And after that 3rd time of the 2nd set, I'll never forget what came after. And that was the samurai chatter that was so loud it reverberated through my chest.
Holy shit.
It was pissed. And I
Really?
knew it. Yeah. I knew immediately. As soon as that happened, I was like, well, shit. That is not an animal and not an owl, and it is pissed. Now,
Crazy.
we don't have any guns or anything like that. The only thing I have in my tent is like a 9-inch blade. And if it screamed loud enough to reverberate my chest, that blade isn't going to do anything. So I was like, well, I guess if I'm going to die, I'm going to die in my sleep. And I closed my eyes. And I guess blacked out or passed out. I don't know how much time had passed, but it came into camp. And it was breathing so loud. It was like a steam locomotive was right next to me.
Jesus.
Now, we have moose, we have elk, we have bear, we have beavers, we have all kinds of things in this property. Not even anywhere remotely close to their sound or their size. And I knew right then and there, I had like woken up, I could hear breathing, and in my head, I said, I'm sorry, I did not know your people existed. I knew
Really?
it was, I knew immediately when it screamed at me, it has a language. If it has a language, it has a culture. If it has a culture, it's a people. Bears don't speak in syllables. Moose don't speak in syllables. So I knew right then and there what I was dealing with was Bigfoot. There was not a single shredded doubt in my mind. And when I said, I'm sorry, I did not know your people existed, it started walking off. And each step shook the ground.
Shit,
It was
that's crazy.
Yeah, because it was probably 100 feet away. So there's a Forest Service road that kind of goes along the property edge, and you got to go down the hill, I don't know, maybe 50 feet, and then you're down below in the property down by the creek. And I knew it was walking up the road, and I could feel every single step shaking the very ground that far away.
That's nasty.
While it was doing that, though, an overwhelming sense of peace and calm came over me. Maybe because I knew, hey, it's walking away. I'm not going to be at snack tonight. I get to live another day. But I have rarely ever felt that in my life. Like that comfortable, that peaceful.
Really? That's interesting.
It's something I always still ask myself today, like, why am I still here? Why didn't you pull me out of my tent and eat me like a chicken wing? Like, I know you are more than capable of doing that, so why didn't you do it to me? I don't have an answer other than, from all the stories we've heard, there are some good and there are some bad. Yeah, it was pissed off. We're in its territory. We scared away the elk, all the animals. That was the first time I'd actually seen a herd of elk. We had come up with his uncle and his girlfriend at the time in the Jeep, and there were 2 bulls and probably maybe like 20 cows, and they all took off back up into the woods when we started coming up, and I was like, wow, that is incredible.
Pretty cool.
To see, but then I realized, oh, yeah, maybe we aren't supposed to be here. Maybe that's why you're awfully pissed off at me. And I'm sorry, like, I had no idea didn't mean to do this, didn't ask for this, and here we are.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was the first one.
I tell you,
And
buddy.
I did eventually. So why I said that he was a little more drunk than I was the next morning I asked, I was like, hey man, did you hear anything weird last night? Like any loud noises or anything like that? He's like, nah, nothing. I slept like a baby. And I was like, well, it's one of two things. Either you were like blacked out drunk and nothing was going to wake you up at that point. Not a damn thing. No water, no me punching you or flipping you over, anything like that. Or somehow that was all directed specifically at me.
Yeah, that's a good chance of that too.
What is it referenced as infrasound, I think? Is what a lot of people call it. Something
Calling
like
it that. I don't know if that's what it is or not myself yet.
Yeah, I don't discredit it because of like telepathy or the voice to skull technology, stuff like that. So I don't discount it. I know it's a possibility. There's no way of me telling.
Yeah. The only one thing that could help a decision for somebody would be the fact that there's no warning signs for infrasound at the zoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I kept kind of hanging around that area. My buddy unfortunately had to have open heart surgery at the time. This was in 2016. He got a bad staph infection from we were building horseshoe pits at the place we were staying. It was a rental. We had worked with the guy previously whose dad owned it, and they didn't tie the top of the chain link to the top post, and the posts, that top rail wasn't secured. And my buddy, he's a little guy. He's like 5'5", something like that. I can step over the fence, like no problem. I'm 5'11". Just step right over. It's not an issue for me. Well, he went to kill the fire ant hill near the telephone pole so they didn't come into the horseshoe pits. And when he went to jump over, the pole gave way and the chain link went in his knee and ripped a big gash in it. So we were literally supposed to go camping at that same spot that day for the weekend. And he comes in, he's like, I fucked up. I'm like, yeah, haha, real funny, man. Sure you did. What's going on? And he does not deal with the sight of blood whatsoever. He passed out. He looked at his knee, saw blood, and he passed out. I was like, oh, he did fuck up. Oh, what do I do?
Poor bastard.
Yeah, so I ran down there, grabbed a towel, grabbed some water in a cup, started smacking him in the face, poured the water on his face. I was like, hey,
get up, you pussy.
Yeah, take this and put it on your knee. And we drove him to the hospital. He got stitches. He later got an infection that spread through his body, a staph infection, so he had to have open heart surgery, have a valve
Holy
replacement.
shit, isn't that crazy? A stupid gash in the knee, next thing you know.
Yep, at the age of 27. So
shit.
While he's going through all this, I'm going back to that property because I'm clearly not in a great state. My best friend's literally on the verge of death. We had one of our foremans quit. The other guy was seasonal firefighter, so now it's just me and my other coworker who was the new supervisor at the time, but he had been working with us the whole time. So it's just he and I building these homes. Nobody. The uncle, since we're still working, he's not really coming out. He's just doing what he's got to do. And I would spend as much time as I could out at this place.
Same place where you got growled
Yep.
at.
Yep, same place. Didn't scare me off.
Really? Were you nervous?
No. All because of that feeling of overwhelming peace and calm.
Yeah.
If that hadn't happened, I probably wouldn't have gone back there.
You'd be in a condo in the city right now.
I wouldn't have stopped going in the woods. I would have just stopped going in those woods.
Right.
So the next one, I'm just out there by myself. There's no one else out there, and I'm camping out in my tent. And it's late at night again, and the top of my tent was being depressed. And I woke up, and when I woke up, it sprung back up to the top. Like somebody just let go of it. I was like, that was kind of weird. Didn't think too much of it. I was like, I don't know, maybe it was mountain lions jumping over the top. Makes no sense whatsoever. They would never, ever do that. But I'm just trying to reason in my head what it could be. So I go back to sleep, wake up in the morning, and the sidewall of my tent is being pushed in with like a finger. I knew it wasn't a bear in its nose because I would have heard it breathing. I would have been able to see the massive bear outside of my tent. There would be no mistaking it. And it's coming towards me. They don't know I'm awake yet because I didn't breathe, I didn't make any noises, but as it's coming towards me, I try to move as slow as I possibly can away from the finger without making any noise.
Oh, God.
Eventually, they figure out I'm awake, and the finger flies off the tent, and the tent wall pops back out.
What kind of tent were you in?
Uh,
Dome tent? Campus tent?
I think just a Coleman tent from Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing
Dome
super
tent.
special. I don't think... It wasn't my big one yet. I didn't invest in that until later. So, yeah, like a 2 or 4 person tent.
Gotcha.
Um,
So there's lots of material there for it to push in on.
yeah, and it, like, when that happened, that's when it clicked. When that finger came poking through the tent wall, I knew, okay, they obviously don't want to kill me. They're curious enough to keep coming back and keep messing with me, but not steal any of my things or anything like that, or not scare or scream at me or cause any harm or anything like that. And that's when I was like, all right, I didn't scare easily. They're still around here, obviously, because they keep coming back.
Where's the other guy sleeping?
He wasn't there that time, but the time that it screamed at me, he was probably 50 feet away in the back, towards the back fire ring. So I was kind of more out in the open, like, field at the bottom of the hill where there aren't a bunch of trees. He was
How far along was the job? Like, you didn't ever think about setting up inside the job site or anything?
We did eventually. We had to pour pier pads for the post and then have it set on adjustable brackets so you can move it as the soil compressed.
Right.
We got the deck up on it. Once we got the deck on it, that's when we started rolling out the floor of the yurt. Once we had gotten the floor out and put the walls up and the canvas on, we didn't have anything in it, so it was still a OSB floor. But that's when we finally started to stay in it.
Right.
And I'm assuming because more people started coming, they didn't start showing up. Like, too many people, we don't want to mess with all those people. If it's just you, sure, we'll mess with you. You seem to keep sticking around, so... but I had told them when we had left, because there's one more event before we leave Colorado, that if everyone was to go stay back out there, just make sure there's a weapon in each of them, just in case. I mean, not even necessarily for the Sabe, but for the bears. Like, they're literally, 150 feet on the next ridge to the right of us. Me and my buddy hiked up there. We could see the scat piles. Like, they're around. So keep one just in case.
Yeah.
You got kids and children coming up here. Just to be safe. I didn't say anything else about it. I just told them to do that. So my buddy gets out of surgery. He's in real bad shape, but he's making a recovery. And he tries coming back to work, but he's not healthy enough, hasn't recovered enough yet to be able to do it. And he wasn't sure he could continue building the custom homes with us, so he's like, maybe we should just move back to Ohio. And I was like, well, I certainly can't afford, to live here on a $15 an hour wage. I'm getting billed out at 40 and boss is taking the other 25 and I'm getting 15.
Damn.
Understandable because I'm new, but it's an ongoing process. I understand it from both sides. I understand it's a business, and in order to run it and to stay in business, there's certain things you have to do. You would probably have been a lot better off, dude, if you had actually paid your employees a better wage to deal with your perfectionist ass. Our tolerance was an eighth of an inch. That was it. On anything. If it was more than an eighth of an inch, rip it off, start again.
On anything.
Anything. Literally anything. And
I get it. I get it for the exterior of shit, but some people get a little out of hand. Drives you bonked.
That's what it was. So my buddy, he did eventually move back out there, did the same thing, and he literally just quit a couple months ago, finally. And I was like, thank you, dude, because it was a recurring situation where the turnover rate was just extreme. And I understand why, because he was such a perfectionist. It's like, normal people aren't going to see these details. You noticing that an eyebrow is an eighth of an inch off 40 yards out in the street looking at the house, they aren't going to notice that. Just because you can doesn't mean they will. So
I probably had clinical OCD or something.
He does. He does have OCD. And the fun part and hard part about it is that was his work personality. Outside of work, top 5 human being of the world. No joke. A wonderful person.
Yeah.
All positivity. All
He had some tism on the go.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My buddy's recovering from surgery. He doesn't think we can do this anymore. So we have his dad come out. We rent a U-Haul trailer. We pack all our stuff up, and we're going to head back home. The day we were going to leave, we were waiting for our security deposit back from our landlord. The uncle lives on a golf course. Small golf course, small town, rural town. Denver's 2.5 hours away. Colorado Springs is 2 hours away. Durango's like 2.5, 3 hours away. So we're kind of in the center of Colorado. And I go out back on his patio and I sit in one of those Adirondack chairs, the ones that lean way back or whatever. And I'm catching the last of the Colorado sun that I can before we leave. Al, man, I'm sure you're listening, so here's a little extra story or example for you. There's no one else out there. I'm the only one sitting out there. Everyone else is inside watching TV or whatever. He has a little backyard, then he has kind of like a beach. He put in a bunch of sand and horseshoe pits. And then there's a 2-rail wooden fence that separates his property from the golf course. There's no music playing, nothing. It's quiet. I'm just enjoying the peace and quiet. And I happen to start looking towards the golf course. And I see this orange orb, probably the size, a little bit bigger than a basketball maybe, like maybe the size of the small beach ball or something like that. And it's completely orange, and it is moving at like a inhumanly precise level direction with the 2-rail fence. I'm staring at it. I'm watching it. I'm like, this is not normal. For it to be that precise, moving at that rate constantly, was mind-blowing.
How high off the ground?
Maybe 4.5 feet off the ground. It was just above the top rail of the 2-rail fence. And it keeps going, keeps paralleling the fence until it gets to the tree that's like maybe 25 feet away from me, at like the 2 o'clock position for me as I'm looking. When it gets to the tree, It shoots straight up in the air, maybe 50, 100 feet, and it hovers right above me. And I'm staring at it the whole time, not saying a word, not doing nothing but looking at it. And it flashes, and then it takes off. It's gone. And it goes up over the mountain range in less than 4.5 seconds.
Damn.
To give somebody perspective, we lived in like a fishbowl. The Rockies were all around us. It took a fighter jet 14 seconds from appearing over one ridge to be out of sight over the rest of the mountains on the other side. 14 seconds. This thing did it in 4.5.
Wow.
I didn't tell anyone for years about that. I had no idea what it was, why it flashed, why me, and how it could move the way it moved. And when it took off in 4 seconds, it wasn't like a straight line. It zigzagged out of there. Yeah, it was hard to fathom.
Weird. Did you feel any fright or anything?
No, I didn't feel anything. That was what was so weird about it. Like, I was just observing it. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel angry or happy or not. I was just observing it. And then it
solid
was gone.
Color? You had like one solid color.
Solid orange with a little, like, bright either diamond or triangle right in the center of it.
Oh, wow. Was it lighting up? Was it lighting up shit around it? Glowing?
No. I mean, this is middle of the day, so I wouldn't have been able to tell anyways. I could
Right.
tell
Oh, yeah,
that
right.
the dead
Shit.
center of it was illuminated. It was not orange, and it was in the center of the orb, but the orb itself was orange.
Crazy. Middle of the frickin' day to boot.
1:30 in the afternoon?
And it was easy to track it that far away when it went over the head of land.
Yeah, because there was nothing in my way, so I could see it go straight out, but I didn't tell anyone about that until 5 years later.
Wow.
I had told everyone about the Sasquatch experiences before I said anything about that. And then we get our security deposit, hop in the truck, and go back to Ohio. Like, oh,
Well, what do you do, right?
yeah, what a great way to leave. Cool.
Yeah. Send off.
Yeah. It was another puzzle piece that I still don't know if I'm correct on or not, but I'll elaborate on that later because I get to see more orbs as the years go on.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't ask for it, but there they are.
Yeah.
And one of them, actually, a friend saw one with me, and he was there for the other. He didn't get to see it, though, because he was locking up the house. But we moved back to Ohio. I get to working, actually, with that buddy who had seen it with me on some of his properties, remodeling for rentals for the friends. And my buddy Scotty, who had the surgery, he went back to doing what he was doing before he had moved out to Colorado, which he hated, and was working in the kitchen, working nights and all that. But because of his condition, they were able to pay him under the table, so he wasn't on papers, so he could still get his Medicaid or Medicare for his heart, because he still had to deal with all that. Still does to this day.
Wow.
With all that. But eventually he got fed up, couldn't take it anymore, and moved back out to Colorado to do it again. And he's doing fine now. He obviously quit working for his uncle because his uncle is OCD. He's making more money. He's still he's doing doors and windows now with another guy, so he's in good shape now, which I'm very happy about because he loves being out there. It is beautiful. Okay. But I stuck around. started doing the things I like doing, you know, kayaking, canoeing, camping, you know, on the river, on islands, or in woods, going on trips with friends, doing the same thing. And that buddy that I started working on houses with bought a property down here in West by God to fix up because we would have a guy's camping trip every year. We'd go to it's the Glade Creek campground in the New River Gorge National Forest. And every year around September, we would gather all the homies together and go down and camp for the weekend and come back. Always have a bunch of fun. We'd go jumping off the cliffs into the water pools down below, swimming, swinging off ropes, and eating so much food we couldn't move. So he bought a house down there because we really liked being down there and hanging out around there. The first time I go down with him, it's just he and I, because we're going to go inspect the property, see what needs fixed, see what's in good shape. And we're driving down in my little Honda, which has no AC, and we get to a park where we got to stop because it's the middle of summer. We're sweating to death. And we go hop in the Glade Creek, but not that Glade Creek. This one was in Babcock State Forest. So we walk down the trail and we go down the creek, and we're walking down the creek quite a ways, you know, where no one else goes, because we typically like going off trail. And we hop down in the creek, we cool off, we have a good time. We go back and we ask, I don't know if he's a ranger, I would assume he's a park ranger, but he's in charge of the gift shop in that state park. We're like, hey man, what are some good trails around here that nobody goes down? He's like, you got this wilderness trail. It's a there and back trail, like it dead ends, then you turn around and you come back. Like, okay, that sounds cool. So we go up there, and we get to the end of the trail because you can see the park border badges pounded into each tree, so you can see the boundary. And I step down past the boundary because I can hear the creek, and I wanted to go see if I could find the water. And my buddy looks at me and is like, hey man, probably not a good idea. We're new into town. Don't want anyone shooting us because we're trespassing on their property. I was like, okay, that's a good idea. That's some solid advice. As I turn around to look at him, something in my head says, hey, John. I look at my buddy and I ask, did someone call your name? I didn't say, did you hear someone call my name? I said, did you hear someone call your name? And he looks at me and he says, yes. And we both looked at each other and we're like, it is time to get the hell out of here. And we ran back out that trail and we're out.
So that was in your head or in your ear? Like
in
you heard
my head.
What was the voice?
Kind of like a female-ish voice.
No shit.
It didn't sound male. It sounded like a female, kind of maybe like a family member or something like that.
So did your buddy hear his name?
He heard his name, and I didn't ask him, did you hear my name? I asked him if he heard his name, because I knew I heard my name. And if I heard my name, it's not going to say, hey, John, to my buddy, because that's not his name. It said his name and the same, hey, blank. And that's when we both looked at each other. Our eyes got big, and we got out.
Crazy.
Yeah, this is the guy who's actually shared experiences with me. He's my only witness for these events that have happened.
Right.
Nobody else was either there, or nobody else saw it, or nobody else heard it. So we get out of there. We go to the property, and we're checking it out. We don't think too much of it again, but it's always in the back of our heads. So we go back out to Babcock a couple more times. The one time we went back down in the creek like we always do, and went down far enough. We had just got done just hanging out in it in the pools and stuff like that, and we were on a rock eating some snacks. And just as we're having this conversation right now, there's another conversation going on further down the creek. But this conversation is no language I've ever heard in my life. Now I've learned German, I've learned Spanish, I've learned French, I've heard Russian, I've heard Arabic, I've heard a lot of languages in my life, and it was nothing remotely close to any of those. I would say it was more like native, whether it be Cherokee or something like that. It sounded like that, but I could hear them having a conversation just like we were having a conversation on the rock. And after it had, gone on for like 30 seconds, a shiver went down my spine because I knew right then and there those aren't humans. Those aren't people who are saying that. Like I knew that language, those syllables was nothing human.
What about the voice?
The voice, yeah, they were deeper. I would assume they knew we were there. I don't know that for a fact, though, because they were talking. It doesn't seem like they would do that if they knew humans were around. Yeah, at least at a conversation like we're having right now, maybe to yell at us or something, but not like a normal convo. So I told my buddy, I was like, it's time to go, man. And we packed our stuff up and we walked out.
Did he hear it?
He did. Because I asked him the next morning, I was like, hey, man, you remember hearing those people down the creek? He's like, now that you mention it, I did. And I was like, I'm going to tell you this. Out of all the languages I know, I've never heard that language. He's like, yeah, I haven't either. And I was like, all right, time to let you in on a secret. He wasn't really sure about them. He's a devout Christian, so he wasn't quite sure if they existed or not. He knew of the Nephilim and all that. And I'm not saying that's what they are. Clearly, I don't think they are. At least for me personally. But that's when he started to kind of go down that rabbit hole as well, because he knew, like, he was there with me. We both heard it and we both confirmed it for each other. So he's a little more cautious now than he used to be, but he's at least aware, his family is now aware that this is real. They exist. And if they exist, then other things can exist.
Anything.
Exactly. Anything at that point. How many stories have we heard about the Dogman or a reptilian or the Greys or, stuff like that. Mothman, that's another famous one around here in Point Pleasant. I do know someone who had an encounter with that being. It was not nice.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's creepy, too.
It's interesting when you present this information in a calm manner, in like a serious manner. You're not joking, you're not laughing, but you're not getting all excited. I found that doing that is when people open up. Because now my friends started sharing their experiences with me. Now that they knew I had my own and it was safe. Like, I'm not judging you for any of that. So as soon as I did that, 5 of my friends came out with experiences, and I was like, cool, awesome. I'm not
crazy?
alone. Yeah. And it was good for them to get off their chest, too, because, they felt the same way as most of us do. Like, we're going to get labeled crazy. Even though we're not.
It's funny when you bring that up, too. If you even have half a smirk, that's all it's going to take to shut somebody up.
Yep. Yeah.
Half a smirk. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm actually pretty grateful and happy that when they did reach out to me, uh, it was a great convo. We were all on the same playing field at that point, and it wasn't like they never wanted to speak about it again, or they never wanted to go in the woods again, or anything like that. So I
Have
was
they seen
happy.
these the hairy ones?
One guy did, yeah. He was actually further north in West Virginia. I think his family had property up there, and they were riding four-wheelers. And he was trying to make a call through his cell phone, so they went to the top of the mountain. And he said when they got up there, it was getting about dusk. It wasn't dark yet, but the sun was setting. And he said, I saw this big black hairy leg step out from this tree, and then it kind of ran off. He's like, I think it was a bear. And I laughed. I laughed out loud right in front of him. I was like, dude, bears don't run on their hind legs away from people. They run on all fours. They might stand up on their hind legs, sure, but they're not running away like we are. You saw a Sasquatch. It's
And nobody's
okay.
ever said I saw this bear with a huge leg ever before.
Yeah, exactly. And he got a sense of relief from me saying, hey man, it wasn't a bear. It was definitely Sasquatch. Your eyes weren't deceiving you. You know, they are real. It's okay. And it was really cool because we had mutual friends together, and they had never talked about it with each other until I had brought it up with both of them. Then all three of us started talking about it together, and it was really cool. It's probably one of the greatest feelings, you know, because now you're dealing with people who are dealing in truth. They're not trying to sugarcoat or lie or tiptoe around anything. It's like
Well,
this
it's a
is what
burden
it
on
is.
your shoulders alone, right?
Exactly, and
Yeah.
it's great to share that burden with everyone. Um, so after we hear that conversation, we had actually brought that up to those other two dudes when we were back in Ohio. That same experience right there, and it was like, hey, you guys know I've had mine, but here's my other buddy who was there with me to witness this. So we both got to see and hear this stuff. And, you know, it just adds a little bit more credibility, even though, you know, we're credible as is. And it was super interesting. One of the guys, he wanted to know more, and like, so whenever I tell my experience to people, I always recommend your channel.
Hmm.
You're the best for all the reasons that you're not in it for the money. You read it word for word. You're just out here for the people and to get the truth out.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
everyone else is trying to charge you money to go on these weekend excursions, or charge you money for their book, or charge you money for the conventions. Like, and most of them are still. The problem I had is one guy wanted to go see another one of these researchers. I don't think he was part of the shit group that we know all of. I think it was just kind of more like a solo guy. And that guy was under the presumption that they were still apes. And I was like, you can go if you want, man, but I'm not going to go just because I know it's not an ape. And what he's going to tell me is nothing that I haven't already heard. And he's probably still on tree knocks and footprints and stuff like that. That is it's not necessarily pointless, but what good does that do you? So they knocked on a tree. You
Well, it's
saw a
like,
big old foot. Like,
yeah,
that doesn't
like
matter.
we don't want to, you go to a rabbit hole. It's like I made the top 10 reasons, top 10 signs you know you're inbred. I think it was, and I think it was the number one was when you call yourself a doctor and you studied dermal ridges and mid-tarsal breaks for over 30 years. That's the solid number one clue you know you're inbred.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody's that stupid. But when you're paid to do it, you'll keep doing it.
And most of them are paid to do it for one reason or another. Either they don't
yeah,
want to
absolutely.
lose their credibility, or they are literally trying to control the narrative.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's obviously the fuel that we all have here, right? It's like fight back. Nuh-uh, not anymore, you pricks.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
it's.
So, did you see one? Have you seen one of these people?
I actually have not seen them yet. I honestly probably could have with the one screaming at me in camp, but I didn't have the balls to sit up and be like, "Oh, hey, look, there he is.
Or you could
Hi."
have grabbed that finger and not let go. You imagine?
Next time if that happens, I am gonna do it. If it ever
All of a
happens
sudden,
again.
oh shit, it's not a finger.
Yeah, that would suck.
That would suck. That would suck.
So, after the conversation, the next one, we were in the national forest and by the other Glade Creek. And we went back to the spot where we always go. We call it the Rhodey Tunnel. It's like a tunnel of rhododendron that goes down a little path and opens up to the... I wouldn't say it's really a cliff, but it's just like a ledge with the rocks and the creek flows over. A lot of the times when we would go on the camping trip, we'd take a night hike out there and we'd all lay on that rock staring up at the stars while the creek is rushing right by us, just hanging out, talking, chilling. Some of us have fallen asleep, you know, because everyone's drinking and smoking. And this time it was just me and that same buddy again. We are leaving. It's dusk. Sun's still out. I'd say probably around like 6 o'clock in the summertime. And we're running down the trail. My buddy's on the right of me. I'm on the left outside. I've got a big old metal water bottle in my hand that we're running with. And a rock hits me right in my left arm where I'm holding that water bottle right on my elbow.
Ow.
I was like, ow, that hurt. And I was like, well, it didn't come from Sam. And it didn't come from me. And I waited. I waited till we got out to the parking lot. And nobody was there.
How big is a rock, do you think?
Maybe like 3 inches by 2 inches. Not super small.
Did he really whip it, or just enough to go, oh, you bastard?
Just enough to go, oh, you bastard, because later when we got back and I was walking up the stairs to the apartment, I grabbed the railing. I was like, oh, man, that's sore. Like, I actually thought in my head, like, yeah, that's kind of sore and tender. But in my head, when I saw there were no cars in the parking lot, there were no cars at any of the campsites, there were no bicycles, there was nobody. And to me, that was actually really weird, because it's a very popular spot. Usually there's always somebody in there, at least one person, or, you know, a couple or whatever. No one.
That's shit thrown at me making videos.
Yep, I remember that. And that's... To me, like, I knew exactly what had happened then. To others, they might not think anything of it. It was like, oh, it's just a freak accident, a ricochet from you guys running it coming up. It was like, no, that's impossible. Statistically impossible. My feet can't kick rocks to the outside of my body and, you know, hit my arm. Sam can't do it because he's on the opposite side of me, so it would never hit my left arm. And, like, just stepping through it was like, all these things are impossible. There's really only one option. Someone was hanging out in the woods, saw me, wanted me out of there, threw a rock at me, hit me right in the elbow, didn't miss, and we got out.
They're probably just doing it for entertainment.
They might.
And they know when you know. Once you know, they know you know, and I have a feeling every single one of them knows you know for all of eternity after that.
I hope that's the case. As silly as it sounds, I still, in my head, thank that one that scared the ever-loving shit out of me. Because it woke me up. Like, hey, other things exist besides humans and animals. Um, as frightening as it was, the end result was peaceful, and it brought me another nugget of truth. So
Yeah.
I don't know if Big Dog can hear me or not when I reach out in my mind thanking him, but I thank him from time to time. Like, hey man, sorry I made you mad, but thanks for not killing me. It's great to still be alive. um, so that the rock incident happened there. Um, the next one after that, we were back in Ohio for. It was just like a big party for the friends. Like, I knew this is probably the last time all of us would get together because everyone's getting married, everyone's having kids, so it's going to be a nightmare to do this again anytime soon. And we rented a place up in Hocking Hills. Now, everybody knew that I knew, but there's only one person out of that friend group who was part of the three that were mutual friends that we were talking about Sasquatch about.
Right.
We were the ones that knew, and he was one of them that knew. Now, I told him my experiences, so it's not like he didn't know, and he had been interested in it really, really deep in it in high school. He's a hunter. So how I got to ask him about it was late night. We were hanging out at his house one night, and everybody had left. And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, man, you ever seen anything weird or unusual in the woods when you were hunting?" He's like, "What are you talking about, man?" I was like, "Something that's not like an animal." He's like what? Bigfoot?" And I was like, "Yes, Bigfoot, actually. As a matter of fact, yes." And he's like, I don't talk about this with many people, but yeah, I was looking big into him in high school. I have never seen one, but I kind of believed, that they existed. And he told me about a time he was out hunting a spot, and he got a weird sense of confusion. Like, he could see the tree breaks snapped off. He thought that was weird. And as he kept going, he knew the area, but for some reason he couldn't figure it out. He's like, "How do I get out of here? Why am I confused? What is this feeling?" And I laughed because he showed me on Google Maps where it was. And he said, "Hey man, if you had to take a guess where they would be, where would you guess?" So he was at one section of this reservoir. And it's pretty popular. A lot of people go kayaking there, fishing. And I was like, well, they're not going to be on that side for one. There's very popular, too many people going in and out, too many people on that section. But you go across the highway on the other side, there's no neighborhood roads in there. There's no way to get in there besides getting off on foot and walking into the woods. And I was like, if I had to guess, they're probably over in that area. He sends me a Facebook post of somebody who was there maybe about a month ago. It was in April when they had made this post. And they were reaching out to anybody, specifically one person who was there that night on the lake with them. But she went to a section where locals told her not to go. Like, nobody goes down there at night, nobody fishes over there, you shouldn't go over there. And she did. She didn't know this, though, until after the fact. And she said, all hell broke loose.
Really?
Something came ripping through the trees, smashing everything, growling, screaming. I was like, there you go. Told you they'd be over there. And he was like, all right, we're getting somewhere. He's getting more into it. So we're at this party with all the friends. It's late at night. I'm all the way down in the pool with half the other party. He's up at the house on top of the balcony. He's the only other one that really knows or gives a shit about Sasquatch. And I hear him whoop 3 times from the balcony. In my head, I was like, you fucking dumbass. Why would you do that? After me telling you what happened, why would you do that? So night keeps going on. Everybody's passed out. I'm the last one awake when it's all said and done. And I'm going around picking up all the beer cans and beer bottles, cleaning the place up. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I start getting acorns thrown at me. And I was like, well, thanks, Larry. Thanks. Clearly they're here. Because they had a little, like, gift shop, you know, kind of in town there that has a whole bunch of Sasquatch themed stuff. I still have the little Sasquatch jar from Hocking Hills and all that. So I knew what it was then, and I still kept cleaning up. I didn't pay it any mind or anything like that. He wakes up because he has to use the bathroom, and I'm walking in, and he looks at me, and he's like, "What are you still doing up?" I was like, "I'm just cleaning up, man. Getting everything ready for the morning so we can get checked out of here and don't get charged anything or anything like that." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's nice." And I was like, "Hey, man, why'd you whoop on the balcony?" It was like, "I just wanted to do it, you know, wanted to have some fun, see what would happen." And he forgot that he didn't tell me after he had done that before he went to bed. He heard a tree knock. I was like,
"Oh, really?
What'd you expect, man?" And I said, "A tree knock? Really? Like, you sure it wasn't just a branch breaking or someone stepping on some sticks?" He's like, "Joe, I know what a branch breaking and the sound of sticks breaking sounds like. I spent a lot of time in the woods. It was as if someone took a baseball bat and obliterated it on a tree. It was so loud." I was like, "I told you, man, this is what was going to happen if you were going to go looking for it. This is the area where they're known. You go doing that stuff, they're going to get curious." And they showed up. And I was like, I don't know what else to tell you, man. I told you so. I told you not to do it, but you still did it, so here we are. So for him, it was now another confirmation, at least for him, and then again for me. Here they are again. They're here in Ohio, they're here in Colorado, they're here in West Virginia, they're probably everywhere, like we've heard, all around the globe, everywhere.
Yeah. Hey, what's the landscape like in Ohio? I've never been there. I haven't a clue. Is it flat, hilly like West Virginia, or mountainous?
The southern half is hilly. That's like just getting into the foothills of the Appalachians. The top half is very flat.
Oh, okay.
There's like... Where I'm kind of at, we call it the Valley. It's the Cuyahoga Valley National Park area, and it's just like a whole stretch through the like central, north, and northeast that's all strung together of a bunch of parks.
Oh yeah.
So there's like cliffs there, but for the most part, apart from the actual river valleys, everything's pretty much flat.
Oh, okay. So, did you ever go intentionally looking for these people ever?
I not so much looking to see, but more encounters, yes. Like, I kept going back to that spot in Colorado. I still go to those parks in West Virginia, and I still will. I'm not going to stop for any reason.
But are you looking with intent to have an experience, or are you just like hanging out there?
Not anymore. I like hanging out there. In the beginning, I was. Like, I would bring, like, bags of oranges or apples and leave them out and yell out gift, like, 3 times and then sprint out of there as fast as we could. I've done that a few times when I was actually looking for them. But it was always funny because whenever I was actually looking for them, they never showed up. Whenever I wasn't paying attention, not looking for them, there they are!
Yeah, I got the same problem. They seem to give me a reminder a few times a year, but whatever. Like even like last year, I had that one run behind my truck. But I'd been in the timber. I was in the dark timber, deep timber by myself for probably 5 hours before that, and we're talking fresh elk wallow. I found fresh sign everywhere, and I didn't even hear a bird. And I kind of knew I just had a weird feeling I was possibly being shadowed or watched or whatever. And then when I got out, it was almost dark, and then yeah, I was.
Yep.
But I don't try. In my mind, I'm nonstop. Leave me alone. I'm not into your ass. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. But they don't, right?
Yeah, I I always ask, like, I go back and forth in my head. Like, I always ask for permission to enter these parks. Like, I just put it out of my mind. Because I know the friends I'm going with, they don't understand that, or they don't, think about any of that. They're going because they want to go. Just like every normal other human being. I'm going out to the park. To me, I always, like, ask, hey, I'd like permission, sort of, but I'm going to be in here anyways. I'm already here, sorry, but I'm just here. I'm not here to harm you. I don't want any harm coming to me or my friends or family. I know you exist. I'm sorry for what my people have done to your people. And I just usually leave it at that.
Interesting.
Yeah, like ever since not being pulled apart like a chicken wing, I don't think they want to kill me, or they've had multiple opportunities by now, so I guess they don't find me to be a horrible person. So
It's funny because I got almost the opposite attitude in a way. I'm like, I don't say sorry for shit, and I don't ask permission for nothing. We're all on this ball together in one big happy family isn't in my mind anyway. But I'm living in a country, in an area where the intentional divide between races here is so annoying. I've just had it up to the nuts with the divide, and so is here first, we're here first. Nobody wants to be a community and support each other and celebrate life with each other. And I guess I'm starting to babble, but
that's how I feel. That's how I feel it should be. I feel as if we should all be living in harmony together. We all should be living in abundance in life. We clearly know we had the possibility for free energy, clean food, clean drinking water, and because of certain things that aren't human, we aren't doing that because there would be no other reason why.
Right? Holy
there's
shit. Isn't
no
it brutal?
other fucking reason.
Yeah. So what do you think these people are?
A people,
They're definitely a people.
Definitely a people. They have culture. They have language. I can't say for a fact like they have clans, but from like the Owlman or from Stephanie, they have tribes. They stick together as a people would. I guess I'm a little more empathetic. I don't like negativity. I don't like evil. I don't like lies. I don't tolerate it, period. And I don't want to be that way. And I don't want that to project from me everywhere else. Like, if I had it my way, we would all be living with free energy, clean food, clean water together, peacefully, like it should be. And you're always trying to figure out who's hunting them. Obviously, there's evil in the world. There's bad. Who's trying to kill them? I'm not trying to kill them. If I can help you out, I will. I know you're being oppressed and persecuted, from all of the stories. Black helicopters, black SUVs, men in suits, all that. So I know you're in the same boat as us. It's no different. You just happen to be a little bit superhuman with some special abilities.
Well, that Stephanie's testimony sure was something else. I don't know if you heard her yet. I think it was this morning.
Yeah, I listened to it this morning.
Wow.
Thank you, Stephanie. That was wonderful because it's...
She didn't get up in the morning and make up that shit.
No. And it's great to hear because I know this is primarily about Sasquatch, but we know there are other things that exist.
Well, you can't focus on one thing. Once you start diving into truth, it's impossible unless you want to willingly stop before go, and that's all she wrote.
Exactly. So
right?
I haven't really delved too far into those other entities and experiences with that. We went on a night hike in Ohio one time. Whole lot of bullshit went down with it, but cops show up, and I tell them, Yeah, because you're not supposed to be in the park after dark, even though the Buckeye Trail is a 24/7 trail. It was like, well, you can't park your car in the park parking lot after hours. They couldn't write me a ticket. The park ranger would have had to have written me a ticket. But I ended up getting charged with possession of marijuana and paraphernalia. My buddy didn't toss it in the creek like he should have. He's like, why the fuck didn't I throw this away? I was like, I was thinking the same thing, man. That would have been great. But here we are. And I'm not going to let him take the charge for it because he's got kids and a family. I don't have kids and a family, so I'm like, all right, I'll take one for the team. Let's be smarter next time.
As the cops go smoke a joint in their day off.
Probably.
Yeah.
And after they get done interrogating me and acting like a bunch of psychopaths, literally one of the cops had searched me from head to toe, and the woman officer is still pointing a shotgun in my chest.
What?
Saying she's feeling nervous.
No
like,
way. Ew.
Oh, you're nervous, huh? Are you the one with the
Jesus.
shotgun pointed at your chest? Did you not
that
just see
sucked.
your officer search me? The only thing I had on me were the car keys. That's it. No wallet, no phone, no nothing else. And I was like, I think maybe you need to go in for a psychiatric evaluation. And after that, she shut up.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that shouldn't have a gun and a badge. That's for certain.
Yep. And one of the cops is like, well, why are you out here tonight? Like, aren't you afraid? I was like, afraid of what? Another human? I don't fear any human. Period. I don't care how big you are. It does not matter to me. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I don't care. Like, the bigger you are, the harder you fall. You all have weak spots. I'm not afraid of anyone. You know, it takes like 7 pounds of pressure to blow out your elbow or knee. Not difficult.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, I'm more afraid of the other things that are out here. And they're like, what do you mean, other things? And I told them about my first experience. And one of the cops turns around away. And I asked all of them, I was like, so have you guys ever heard or seen anything like that around here? And the one cop turns around and he's like, nah, nothing with Sasquatch. But there was a dog man. Because he used to be he used to be a game warden before he had got on with the PD. And he's like, yeah, there was that out here. And we would go on a night hike to this one spot. And, like, the road's closed down. It's all dilapidated. It's kind of swampy at the bottom, but you walk up the road, up the hill. And on the left-hand side, there's an opening. And every single time we walk past that opening, I get a creepy-ass feeling. Like, I'm not going to go down there. I'm not supposed to be there. Move as quick as you can past it. Every single time, and everyone else gets that feeling.
That
so
sucks.
after that, I was like, hey, no more night hikes there. Ever again, please. If we're going to go hike, let's go hiking in the day, I guess. But not that place, not at night.
Right. So, are you you're in the Appalachians, the base of the Appalachians now?
Yeah, I'm in it here. Down at the other property, you're directly in it, like it's a fishbowl down there. I'm actually here in the capital. I work for a dog rescue now.
Are you living rural?
It's rural-ish. It's like on the edge of the city.
And you got chickens. I heard some chickens.
Yeah, we got chickens. We have dogs, a couple cats, but that's about it.
You got shit going on around your house?
No, surprisingly.
Not yet.
Not yet. I haven't, like, asked for it around here either. Everyone around here knows. Like, there's Bigfoot signs everywhere.
Really?
Literally, you go down the street to the restaurant and on their fence is a giant Bigfoot.
Right.
Like, everybody around here knows. Everyone. And it was funny because my boss isn't from here, but I had told him about my experiences, and he was like, I'm still not sure. And then he started going around and hearing everybody else talk about it. He's like, oh, okay, they're real now. He's like, I'm telling you, man. I'm
Yeah.
not lying to you.
I just took Sarah down the road yesterday. We had to go into town to go to the store, and I'm going to just take it on the side road and show you where I found these stick structure things, which I have zero interest in. She's like, really? And I go, yeah. And it's right beside where something rushed her on the road in broad daylight, but she couldn't see it.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I just said, well,
Yeah.
keep your eyes on that. Yeah, she had twice now right there. Well, within 300 yards, she had on the hill there, had something rush her, heard the woods getting blasted, and smelt this disgusting stink. And my dog was going crazy with her. And then just a few weeks ago, she had something. Her and the dog heard it stomping through the field from the river next to a timber line and rushed up on them. Couldn't see nothing, but blatantly heard it ripping up on to them.
Ooh, that's terrifying.
I know, it kind of sucks, but that's the last thing that's happened. I haven't had a feather in the barn. Haven't had anything go on at the house here for maybe a couple months, a few months, maybe. But that's the last thing that's happened close by, is that thing rushing up on Sarah. She was terrified. She said she was absolutely terrified from that last thing that went down. I don't know why they keep on picking on her. She's got zero interest.
Maybe to scare her off.
I don't know. It's a
That's the
public
best I
park
can-
right there. There's people fishing in the river. There's a few houses there. You know what I mean? It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. Based upon one of the last True Talk episodes, where there's like, yeah, they kind of share the humor of the Native Americans. Like, that kind of makes sense to me. Like punking you out, but it's not cool, obviously. But I guess that's what they could be doing. Just
Yeah,
trying
well,
to-
then there's me every time I go outside at nighttime in the yard here. I'm not saying too much. I'm not really saying too many pleasant words. It's just the way I am, right? It's like, F off and quit effing around. You know what I mean? Like, piss off.
Yeah.
Don't do that. As anybody should.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It'll be interesting to see as time keeps passing what else happens.
Yeah, well, I'm going back up north here in, 3 weeks. 3 weeks we head back up north to where I seen that thing behind the truck where the knife came back in my backpack, and on and on and on. Sarah's come with me, so we'll see what happens. Obviously something's going to happen, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
But I still got to go. I can't let it doesn't ruin anything for me.
And that's
I'm a little concerned about that direction, so much so, like we had, I think tomorrow we have Kevin from the Arizona Fours on tomorrow, and wait till you hear what he saw and got a picture of. Holy shit. So, I don't know. I was so concerned about what's up there. We actually watched Fire in the Sky last night, because that's about 12 miles away from where the Arizona Four guys hang out.
Ooh, I haven't heard of it, but I'll have to check it out.
Fire in the Sky? That Walton guy, what's his first name? Shit, brain fart, just watched the movie. The guy they're logging, and they come back in the crummy, and there's this bright light in the timber, and they stopped and pulled out. One guy got out, walked underneath this frickin' saucer, and it blasted him with some light. And those guys took off and left him there, and next thing you know, he remembers being on this craft. And then they showed up. The crew was the town was coming after them for murder. And then all of a sudden, he showed up buck naked in another town miles away 5 days later.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah. That's
I'm not into that.
me either, and that's kind of what I fear. I don't really fear Sasquatch, so to speak. Like Dogman, yeah, I would be skeptical of them. I probably wouldn't be aggressive towards them, but I'm not trying to make friends.
I'm not throwing a stick.
Yeah. Yeah. After all the stories I've heard and pretty much how much of a killing machine they really are, it's like, yeah, I don't own a pistol, but I'll take my rifle with me just in case.
Yeah.
But so coming up from the sky, so I saw that one orb before we left. We took a little trip out to Utah, just a couple of us friends to go see Moab and, you know, all those national parks out there. And I went with my buddy who was building the custom homes. I wanted to go camping. The other half of the group wanted to stay in the Airbnb for a couple days because they're city folk. They're bougie. They don't like the rough stuff. And I was like, yeah, just drop me off in the Wendy's parking lot. I'll wait for Scotty to pick me up. I'm going camping. There's no way you're going to catch me in an Airbnb out here. So our buddy sent us a pin for a camping spot that one of his friends had used. And somebody was there, so we kept going further down, and we found a nice spot. And he's pulling in, and we're just about to start unloading things. And I look to my right, and there's another orange orb in the sky.
No shit. Same size?
I would assume this one was kind of high up in the air. It wasn't low on the ground this time. But same orange one. And I look at it, and when I look at it, it flashes, and flashes again, and poof, it's gone. It didn't go anywhere. It just zapped out.
Crazy.
It wasn't there anymore. And like, I had seen it. My buddy was still in his Jeep dragging stuff out, so I'm like, hey, did you see that? Clearly you didn't. So I'm not going to talk about it because you weren't there for the first experience. You didn't hear anything or see anything then, and you clearly didn't see this. So I didn't mention anything about that to him. There was a gold one that had come up down here in West Virginia. We had just got done pulling out all the carpet in the apartment, and we were going to get ready to sand the floors and repoly the floors and stuff. And we were done for the night. It was probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. He's locking the door, and I'm just staring up at the sky, looking at the stars, and the mountain behind us. Up comes a gold orb from the trees, and it goes right up. I'm still staring at it, and I go, huh, look at that. And my buddy goes, what? And I was like, that's a gold orb coming out of the forest. And by the time I said that, he got the door locked up and walked back. It was gone.
What the hell? It's so weird. It's so weird to me that I haven't seen something like that yet. But just 2 years ago, I was leaving here at 4 in the morning to head up north in the fall. It was raining once, and I was coming up, it's called the hump. You go up and over the mountain range here in the highway, and I was going downhill, and it's a snaky turn, and it's sleeting, and I had a trailer, so I couldn't really focus too long, but there was this bright white light in the timber in the distance, probably about, I don't know, maybe a quarter mile away, but clearly right at the tops of the trees, bright, we're talking like welding bright white light. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, oh, look at that, no way. And then I had to keep my eye on the road, and there's no way I was turning around, not there. But I didn't turn around. I wasn't going to turn around. I had to keep going. But that's the only light that I've seen, I think, in the woods. But so many people see these balls of orange light. And I'm like, man, the amount of time I spent in the woods, I don't see them.
Didn't you get a video of some lights?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, right. I got that other video way up in the mountains at Timberline at about -30. That's right, too. I got a video of that. But I haven't seen the gold or yellow orb right in front of me ripping out of the timber, you know?
Yeah. Something that the Owlman mentioned, like, that thing showed up, and it's like, shut up, don't say anything. When he said that, something clicked in my head. There's a show on Netflix. It's called The Three-Body Problem. There's a little... I'll post it in the comments when this video goes live so everyone can watch it. When he said that, a shiver went down my spine. In the clip, it tells of an advanced race that is supposedly going to be coming here. And they created these 4, as they call them, I think, sophons. They're 4 little orbs that are quantumly entangled. So whatever happens around that one orb is instantly transmitted to the other somewhere else. When he said, when he was talking with them and that orb showed up and they said, shut up, don't say anything, I got a creepy feeling. Are these observers for those other races that are going to show up? Why are you not supposed to talk about them? Luckily, I've never said anything around them. I've just watched them, but I don't know if it's true or not. It just kind of like clicked together for me. I was like, wait a second, where have I seen this before? And I saw it on that TV show, and I was like, I wonder what's up with that.
Yeah. Well, the more testimony we hear from people, for me, especially lately, the more, almost like you're saying, shit's getting real in a way. It's like when Kevin had a great conversation yesterday when he explained what they watched. All of them watched this thing go across the sky, and they got a photo of it. Like, wait till you hear it's on tomorrow, I think, the description of the size of this thing. And then I'm like, damn. I mean, I trust those guys absolutely, what they've seen and what they present, but I'm like, all those movies of all of a sudden you wake up and there's a ship over Los Angeles just hovering there. There's a ship over every city just hovering there. That is so possible right now. It's not even funny.
Yep.
To really go down for real. You know what I mean? Like there's no, it's not an over exaggerated thought, made up fiction. It's very, very, very real right now, especially today with the shit show going on around the planet, ramping up like,
yep.
I don't know, man.
And that's, for me, like I don't really consider myself unique. I just consider myself like an average Joe. But because of my family and what they were involved with, they get to know like the secrets that are guarded. 2 of them that are guarded in those groups. One is aliens are real, and the other is magic is real. So, if they knew then, and these groups have been around for thousands of years, they've been around for thousands of years. It would 100% be a possibility. Without a doubt in my mind. Yeah, sure, they've been here the whole time. Of course.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they be hanging
Another
around
thing
cloaked?
is, how about the Vatican wanting to have fighting with the natives down there? I think it was in Arizona or somewhere else, fighting with the Apaches over having an observatory built on top of the mountain. Because the Vatican needs to watch the stars in the States somewhere on a specific mountain all the time with an observatory, right?
Which
What
they
the
already
hell's
have
going on?
Yeah, which they already have an observatory elsewhere. So
Yeah, so are they watching that for protection? Are they watching that so they got a good long head, trying to get a heads up before somebody returns? Or what's going on? There's just weird shit going on, right?
Yep, and they have to keep it all under wraps unless you reach those upper echelons of those fucking awful, evil, shitbag fucking groups.
Well, you can't let the honeybees get out of control.
I read a forum.
You just keep getting that honey and shut up.
Yep, every time, and it's frustrating because it literally is that simple. All everyone has to do is stop going to work, stop buying the shit.
The slaves outnumber the slave masters since time began.
And that's the only thing they fear, but everybody can't get it together.
Isn't it amazing? It's so weird. You know what, on that note, I got a guy, we're trying to line this guy up, like right now, almost, I don't know why, I've got an urgency to get this guy lined up. He's on the other side of the planet. I think I might have a real significant whistleblower coming on here.
That is amazing.
Like he's ex-military, NDA, the whole 9 yards, getting threatened even right now, and he knows of too many soldiers that have been killed, he said to me, and he's coming on here to dump some serious shit.
Good.
Might even be today. I don't know. Sarah's busy trying to line it up because it's a 12-hour distance, so we'll see what happens. I'm like on the edge of my seat wondering, holy shit, what's coming now?
Yeah, I know at least surface level stuff with that. One of my neighbors was in the army back in Vietnam, and he had told me, yeah, we just took all the women and children, sold them as sex slaves. We'd go ahead, take all their drugs, manufacture drugs there. And then, like, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, makes sense. You know, corrupt
Pretty
country
dark.
with the military. This is the only way you're going to get away with it. Makes total sense.
Pretty dark.
Yep.
It's like
But-
protecting poppy fields.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Wait, for real, we haven't heard anything about the slowing down of the cocaine coming over the southern border either, have we?
No, we can just never win that war on drugs. They always just
Right?
keep slipping them through somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah,
In big
yeah.
quantities, too.
Oh,
But anyway, we better wrap this up. I got so much shit I gotta get done. I gotta head back to the boat tomorrow. And fuel just went up another 10 cents yesterday, and I pack all my own fuel. I've got a weird feeling I gotta hurry up and start getting all my jugs filled before it really rips with what's going on across the ocean there.
oh yeah. Oh,
Apparently,
just,
apparently the source for our diesel fuel has been absolutely eliminated this week,
wow.
right?
That's bad.
Yeah, I gotta get my act together. You got anything else you want to share before we get out of here?
Nah, I think that's everything so far.
Okay, man, it's pretty good. Stay informed. You learn anything significant you want to share with the planet, let me know.
Definitely will. Pleasure
And
to
don't
be
be
on
grabbing
here.
at things that look like fingers on the wall.
I'm gonna blame it on you.
The tent wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame it on you.
Just might pull away and then poke right back at you again. Whoa, wait a minute. Do that again.
Yeah. Well,
All right,
you
man.
go on, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you once again for providing the platform for all of us to share.
Yeah, man.
Get the
Sandy, isn't it
feedback.
great? Isn't it amazing? The power of the people is amazing.
It's unstoppable.
Like,
If
as soon as I
only
figured
everyone-
out, yeah, as soon as we started getting a shitload of people talking here, and that was when I was cluing in, I'm like, oh my God, this is frickin' golden. Hearing from the people, word for word, is the most significant amount of knowledge you'll ever get.
Exactly. I
And
can't
they
live
know it.
100 lifetimes. I can't have 100 perspectives, but all of you can.
Yep.
You share it in honesty. It informs us all. We're better off for it.
Yeah. All right, here we go.